the financial struggles were really catching up to me. It's a big fine and it's just a little difficult.
Something needs to happen by December 5th in
Right.
terms of an extension.
Not too sure how to go about this. I have no money, so
How are you eating every day?
I actually have an EBT card that I had to apply for. I feel like it's very unfair for you to think that I actually have that type of support in my life. I've been sitting here for over an hour and a half missing school, and I've been doing this for the past 6 or 7 weeks with you. And it's really, really harming my
Ms.
education.
Ms. Meggerly, I understand you're frustrated. I'm frustrated too. The fact of the matter is you earned these tickets. We are back on the record calling the matter of Katie Mergley, I think it is.
Hi.
Hi there.
Yes.
Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, ma'am. Katie Meggerly.
All right, Meg. Okay. All right. I'm just looking at your file really quick. Give me a moment to do that. And then I will hear from you with regard to whatever you want to tell me. All right, Ms. Meggerly, what would you like to tell me about your situation?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here today. So about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, I received a letter about some outstanding parking tickets that occurred back in 2023, middle of 2023. Um, I received this letter and opened it and was shocked by it. I knew that I did have a couple of outstanding parking tickets back at the time. I did not realize that it was to this extent. I know back then I definitely did not prioritize them the way I should have, and I understand that was a definite mistake on my part and to let it get to this point. Um, and, it took me a really long time to address this matter. I was kind of struggling financially and had some personal instabilities and, just working 3 jobs, trying to balance it. But more recently, I'm trying to change my life around. I'm going back to school. I've moved back in with my parents just because, the financial struggles were really catching up to me. I know that I saved some of these parking tickets at the time and I kind of put them aside and kind of forgot about it. Didn't have the funds to pay them. Tried to. I know my track record with the city of Boulder and parking tickets hasn't been very great. But every time this happens, or every time all of this piles on me and I'm not focusing on it, not taking care of it, I try to come in. I understand that this is a problem and, I'm just here today. I've tried to meet with you guys for over a month. My work schedule, my school schedule, it's been really hard for me to try to find a time to come in and meet with you. But yeah, I'm just here today to kind of address this. I'm absolutely taking full responsibility for this, is me disregarding, not making the time or the effort to pay these tickets. And I am looking at this paper and it's just, yeah, it's a lot. And I know my late fees were just stacking up and I really had no idea until recently. I was like, wow, this was back in 2023. It's been a really long time. This is the first letter I've gotten letting me know that it's actually gotten this bad. So, I'm just here to, take responsibility and be held accountable. I really want to make this right with the city. My car is very important to me at the moment. I go to school down in Denver. I live in Boulder with my parents, so I know that my car has been on the tow list. I was into the office and spoke to the gentleman who worked at the parking ticket desk. Um, he did take a couple of tickets off for me when I was living up at Pine Street. One of them he took off. I parked super quick to run inside, change, and run back to my other job. Um, I know there was another one on there. I did have a parking permit for Pine Street. However, in the time of when I was living there, my mom actually sold me the car, so my license plate changed. Um, and I did not take the steps to change that on to my parking profile with the city of Boulder. And still, I have yet to come in and show him. It's been very busy for me starting school, just kind of getting on this new path. And so, you know, I'm here and, I'd really like to pay my debts. At the moment, I have about $200 available. I know that this fine is pretty hefty, but I'd like to at least set up a payment plan or something to get this right now that the car is in my name and it is super, super important for me to just kind of my day to days today. So,
Okay. So a couple of things that you mentioned, and I realized you can't see what I'm doing. I was taking notes, which
mm,
it looked like I wasn't paying any attention to, perhaps, but I was. So you mentioned that you are no longer living on the hill. You're living with your parents. Where are you living?
I live in South Boulder now.
Okay.
hmm Yeah, a majority of these tickets that I'm looking at in 2023, um, when I was speaking to the guy at the counter, I was wondering, I was like, where did these tickets occur? I know one of them, like the Whittier area, but up on the hill, during that time, I was taking a class at CU. I was working up on the hill. I was on the hill pretty regularly. But yeah, I did not realize that it came to this point. I remember receiving a few tickets, setting them aside in my car, but yeah, mhm.
Okay. So not, and you're not living in a parking zone of any sort right now. Where in South Boulder are you?
South Boulder, up in the Devil's Thumb area. I
Okay.
just moved out of my apartment up on Pine Street about a month ago, so very recently.
Okay.
Um,
So not somewhere where parking's not an issue.
yes, ma'am.
And it doesn't sound like you're going to the hill very much anymore. Okay. And just for the record, I'm going to have you say that out loud now.
Yes, I am not going to the hill anymore.
All right. Because we have a couple of goals. One, we want to see the city get paid what it's owed. Two, we want to make sure that this doesn't keep happening. And I hear you saying that a lot was going on and that you had two jobs and um, that kind of thing, that you were busy, but everybody's busy. And lots of people have multiple jobs. I mean, the other thing is the tickets that I'm seeing aren't for not paying for parking, it's for overtime at a parking, like it was paid and you stayed too long.
Mhm.
So, you know, you just, I mean, I shouldn't say you can't do that and not have consequences. You can do it, but there's consequences, and consequences are that you get a ticket for it. The other ones I see the neighborhood parking pass, one in Whittier, where you're parking somewhere past the whatever the time limit is. There, in some places it's 2 hours, and in other places it's 3 hours. There's another one, neighborhood parking pass in Mapleton, same kind of thing. I see parking where the sign prohibits parking.
Mhm.
And these are, the concern I have is that, this stuff not keep happening. To some extent, it sounds like you're going to school in Boulder, in Denver, you are living in South Boulder, you're not going back to the hill, but you still live in Boulder. And I assume you're going to go downtown sometimes. And you have to understand, if you don't pay for your parking like you're supposed to, and now these days it's so easy with the parking app. If your parking's running out, you can just add more time. There's virtually no reason to get overtime at a pay station. The neighborhood parking passes, I don't know where you were parked. I don't know if you were hiking Sanitas or whatever for the Mapleton one. But the same idea. There's limits on parking, and if you bust those limits, then there's consequences for it. So when did you call and talk to somebody? You said the guy at the ticket counter. When did you talk to them?
There should have been a note left. I can't say the date for sure. There should have been a note left to where my car was on the tow list. And then when I came in and spoke to him, he made a note under my license plate to not tow my car until I had a chance to speak with the judge. Since then, I've called pretty much every week, almost 3 times a day, trying to figure out when I could either come in, join the Zoom call. Every time there was a scheduled time, I was in school or I was working or something changed and the court got canceled. I know I called about 2 weeks ago and I'm not sure who it was, but the judge was out of town for like a week and a half, and I wasn't able to speak with anyone there. And so I called back, and I was, worried still living it down on Pearl Street. Like I didn't want my car to get towed, and came back in, tried to have another note put in there until I got to speak with the judge until someone was back. It's been really back and forth. I've had a lot of struggles just trying to figure this out and finding a time.
And I hear you. I hear you saying you're financially struggling, but that's all the more reason not to overstay your time at a meter, because it costs a lot less to pay a few dollars for the meter than it does to pay for a ticket. And then if you're not dealing with the ticket, the late fees on that ticket, looks like a couple of your tickets have been sent to collections, which is not good for the old credit rating, which is really not good for somebody your age. Like I said, you did also mention that you had some of these tickets voided when you spoke to the guy at the counter. So you've already gotten some relief from this. What I'm interested in doing is, with your commitment to me that you're not going to get any more tickets, I'm going to give you a little more relief in terms of I will waive something. I haven't decided yet what. But as far as the rest of it goes, what we need to do is, get the stuff paid. Mm-hmm. So I'm hearing you tell me you can pay $200 today. And then what you'll have to do, we don't have payment plans because it is too hard to administer. We have very small staff, and trying to administer all the people who want time to pay, on payment plans is difficult. So what we do is we give you a do not tow. We'll put that in your file, and you have to come back and see us and make some more payment before we will extend it. Okay. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Where are you working now?
Currently I'm looking for a job. I started school about a month and a half ago. I go 5 days a week from 8 to 5. So it's a busy schedule. It's been kind of hard to find a job that works with it, or it can only hire someone for 2 days a week or at night. So still in the process of figuring that out, but
unfortunately we're at the time of the year when, there's all the retail places are hiring extra people for the holidays. And I know your mom's been very involved. Is something your mom can help you out with?
Hopefully.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. You had, let's see, with your $200 payment, I'm going to waive one more ticket for you. So that ticket is going to be the oldest one in the system, which is from April 4th of 2023. Am I looking at the right one?
That's what I see.
April 4th.
I was just going to let you know now, and I thought
these, unfortunately, on this thing do not appear in order.
I didn't put one. It's in it.
That's okay. I'll find it. There it is. So it looks like it's the one ending in 2964, which is our waive. That's a $75 ticket I'm waiving for you.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that.
You are welcome. And then, so that's with the $200 payment today. So that's going to leave you of a balance, let's see, 910 minus 200, about $710. And I hear you that you're looking for a job, but this is how it's going to have to work. You do owe the city money. You are responsible for this. You know that. You've told me that. But we're going to have you back in, and how we generally do it is with a significant payment. The judge, and I'm not always the judge for this, but with a significant payment, often the judge is willing to waive another ticket, that sort of thing. So we're, going to make you come back until it's paid. For the moment, I will add an order to the file not to tow you for another month. Today's the 31st. So what's the Saturday 4 weeks from now?
4 weeks from now. The 22nd.
4 weeks from now is the 22nd. So you have to come back and see me before the 21st and Thanksgiving is after that, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
You have to come back and see me before the 21st or by the 21st of November.
Yes, ma'am.
Because the date do not tow until the 22nd. The tow date is always on a Saturday.
Okay.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Mm-hmm.
just for your notes, if we have her pay the 2 collections one and then a 75 one, that'll put it to 195. So
I'm sorry, repeat that.
So if we have her pay the 2 that went to collections.
Oh, you want those paid first? Okay, that's fine.
Just because that will get us to closer to that $200 mark, it'll be a total of $195.
Okay. So what Sabrina, our court clerk, is telling me is that they prefer that you pay the 2 that have gone to collections first.
Okay.
And so how are we going to do this?
So we can have
So you're going to waive, so 0174 is the one you want to waive?
No, 0174 is what we should have her pay along with the 1087. These are on the second page.
Oh, right. Okay.
To pay, and then we can have her pay the other ticket ending in 4165.
Okay. So it looks like it's going to be a $195 payment today.
Okay. And then I see a phone number just popped up in my chat, and I call that to give my card information, I'm assuming.
That's correct.
Okay.
And you said the date was November 22nd.
November
Saturday?
22nd is the Saturday. That's correct.
All right. So I'm going to put that note in your file.
Thank you.
And I'll do it after court today, or after court this morning. I've got a few other people who want their cases looked at. But you'll be on the do not tow list on the 22nd. But again, we need to see you back here with a payment. And actually, they could, if you made a significant payment over the phone, they could extend it some. But in order to extend it longer than a week or 2, you actually need to come back and see a judge.
Okay.
Okay?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. We will look forward to seeing you soon. And good luck to you.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
With the October 31st appearance wrapped up, the court keeps the case open and sets a return date. It comes back on November 14th with expectations clearly laid out and time officially on the clock. Between school, job searching, money stress, and paperwork confusion, the plan sounds simple enough. The only real question now is whether progress shows up or just another explanation.
All right. Calling the Meggerly matter. Good morning, or good afternoon, I guess.
Good morning. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Well, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. So update me on, I was just reviewing my notes on your case. Update me on where things are. Last time we talked, you were looking for a job.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm still searching for a job. I think, like I said last time, it's kind of hard being full-time in school. So I'm still looking around. And I believe that my deadline was the 21st last time
It
we.
is. Yes, that's correct.
Mhm. So, yes, currently don't have a job. Last time I did make a payment, which I think was $195.
That is also correct.
Mhm. So, um, yeah, at the moment, funds are pretty tight for me and not being able to work, still kind of looking for something. It's been tough looking for a job in Boulder, in Denver, kind of all around the area. So I'm still in the process of looking. I know that there's still a pretty big amount for me to pay within these tickets. So I'm not too sure how to go about that at the moment. I know that I would like this resolved. Um, but
The last time we had also talked some about, because I said, yeah, I knew your mom had been pretty involved. So we talked about maybe if she was going to be able to help you out some. Where is that situation?
at the moment, not necessarily because since the car was transferred into my name, now I own the title and pay insurance for it. Um, you know, she understands that it's a big fine, and yes, it's just a little difficult because I haven't had the greatest experience with parking in Boulder kind of throughout my whole life since I started driving my car. So I don't know. I'm still discussing with her, seeing if there's a way that we could come to a conclusion to kind of help me pay this out. But yeah, at the moment, it's kind of just been left up to me.
Okay. And I know you cannot see me right now. I can hear you. You can hear me, I assume.
Yes, ma'am.
My computer decided that it was going to reboot. So that's where we are with my computer. Nonetheless, I still have your information up here and I can still see it and we can still chat. And as soon as this thing reboots itself, then I will turn it back on. But nice. So my apologies that you can't see me. All right, then, well, I'm not willing to extend the deadline any farther without some additional payment. I need to see progress on this in order to be willing to extend the deadline. So how much are you able to pay?
I can't say on the top of my head. I do have my car insurance payment coming up and some other things. Just gas is very expensive driving back and forth to Denver from Boulder 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was I was wondering, looking at this paper in front of me of all the tickets, um, I think I told you last time, I never got a notice for any of these until like no in September of 2025 when all the tickets were in 2023. Yeah, I think I let you know that it just kind of popped up out of the blue. I've had the same address within City of Boulder for all of my information, the same for the past 24 years. So I'm not too sure why I never got a notice earlier, like towards the end of the year, since they mostly happened in summer when I was working up on the hill. But
Look, I'm going to stop you there because we did talk about this some last time, and you did say that you knew you had some tickets, but you didn't think you had as many as you did. I don't have any evidence that the notice wasn't sent. So I'm not willing to just waive a bunch of tickets. That's not happening.
I understand that. I'm not asking for tickets to be waived. I think more so looking at these, they were all overtimes at pay station, kind of indicating that I did put my license plate in, I did pay, and I was there over the limited time of what I had paid for. Um, but looking at them and kind of just adding it up, it seems that because they were so overdue and they came into what is it? The response made in 14 days of the letter date, and then, it adds on an extra charge after the 14 days. Because I know a lot of the tickets on the Hill aren't just flat out $75. Um,
No,
so I
there's
guess,
late fees. There's late fees on them.
yeah, I understand. I guess what I'm trying to ask is that, is there any way to waive the late fees? I mean,
We can talk about that when there's some additional payment. It's not something I'm just going to waive. I mean, I will give you some relief, but I need to see payments to do that.
I understand. It's hard because I don't have $700 at the moment that I can just like pay to the city of Boulder.
I'm not asking you to pay $700. I'm asking you to make a significant payment toward that amount.
I understand. It's just the significant payment for me. It's like $100 is like most of my funds at the moment.
And I hear you. You might want to talk to your mom again and see if you can maybe work something out with your mom to get a loan. It's the like I said, I'm willing to give you some relief. I need to see some work towards getting this paid down.
Yeah, I understand. I don't know. I thought $200 is a very big payment for me, out of the 900. I think that because I never got notice in the mail like I have in the past before, like when I lived up on Mapleton a couple months ago, I got a notice right away from a ticket that I had paid. It's sent in the mail. I never received this with these tickets back from 2023. So I guess it's hard not to be able or
Well, you certainly got a ticket on your windshield. So, you're talking about a notice that comes in the mail later, but you would have gotten a ticket on your windshield. So
I understand, but it's just the fact that I'm getting a notice in 2025, right before 2026, of some tickets back in 2023.
well, the reason you're getting that notice is because you got the ticket and then you didn't pay the ticket.
All right. Well, I don't have any funds that I can pay today. I don't have any money that I can make a payment with. So
Well, we are having traffic add-ons next week, and that's before your co-deadline. So if you want to reappear next week and make a payment, then we can talk about an extension. We can talk about some potential relief. Okay?
how can I ask you how much a payment would be for you guys to recognize that like I do need some more relief on this? Like I don't have a job. I don't have any way to apply for a job. I am at school full time supporting myself. So
And I hear you, but you also told me last time that you moved in with your parents up in Devil's Thumb. So,
yes,
you,
but I still pay for my phone bill, my insurance, my health insurance, school.
ma'am, I do hear you, but you incurred these tickets. You've got responsibility for these tickets. You told me that last time. And I do need to see some effort on your part. You're saying you can't get you go to school full time every day. Well, you have the weekend, and it is the holidays. There are lots of jobs available during this time of year.
I guess what I was trying to ask is how much would a payment would be acceptable for you guys?
Well, I'm willing to give you like an extension to give you more time with a payment. And what you're telling me is that, you don't have a lot of money. If you can make a $50 payment, I'm willing to talk to you about an extension. And then, it's just going to be continuing to come back to the traffic add-on docket until we can get this paid off. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
So you can come back next week. We are having traffic add-on docket next week.
Could I get the number for payments just in case?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat, just, Your Honor, just so we know too that if we want to make the numbers kind of round, we should have her pay a particular ticket. So if you want to set a certain.
Then let's do a phone number.
Yeah, a phone number, but.
She's saying she doesn't have the money today. She just,
Okay.
so whoever talks to her on the phone.
Okay.
So don't go online to pay anything. What we'll have you do is sort of like we did last time, because I had said 200 and then it turned out it's easier for us if we can pay off certain tickets, and that's how it got to be 195. So we're going to have you call in if you have a payment. And that way we can make it a round number.
Mm-hmm.
So Sabrina, our court clerk, is putting in the chat the phone number for you to call if and when you are able to get some money.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day, and I think we'll probably see you next week then.
After the November 14th hearing, the case doesn't move forward so much as it circles back. It returns again on November 21st, with deadlines closer, patience thinner, and the familiar sense that effort is always about to start. Just not yet. Same goals, same obstacles, same optimism. This time, though, the calendar is starting to feel less forgiving.
Ms. Meggerly, I see that you're on the line.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hi.
So let me pull your case up. And I saw it in here somewhere, but I lost it, that a payment was made.
Yes, last Thursday or Friday. I can't remember.
Oh, it's in the, okay.
I can show you that.
Okay, it looks like your mom came in and paid.
Yes, she did. Well, on my behalf.
Oh, understood.
Because I was in school.
Understood. But a payment was made.
Yes.
I'm not particular about who makes the payment, quite frankly. Again, as you know, what we want to see is we want to see this get paid down. All right. So, and you had a do not tow from me until tomorrow.
Today. Oh, yeah.
It's tomorrow. It's always on Saturday. So with that payment, I am willing to extend your do not tow sum. But when are you going to be able to make the next payment?
Well, currently at the moment, I'm still looking for jobs. I've had a couple interviews yesterday because it's my only day off from school. I have a couple around town at Boxcar, at the Highland Club, some other restaurants along Pearl Street. But at the moment, I've been picking up some babysitting jobs here and there for some families I know. So right now, well, I'm down in Denver. Otherwise, I would come in and make a cash payment today. But I'm not off of school until 5.
Understood.
And then next Monday, same situation. I leave Boulder around 6 o'clock in the morning and don't get home until around 6. So Tuesday, however, I am off. And I was wondering if I could possibly come to the counter next Tuesday, I think, which is let me see, the 25th. If I could come in and make that next cash payment then.
That would be fine with me. And how much are we looking at getting?
Hopefully 100 to 150 this time.
That's great. I'm sorry, I'm taking notes down here.
No worries.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to extend your do not tow. And what was that date again? 12/6?
Yeah, December 6th. That's correct.
So we'll see that payment coming. I'm doing that based on the $50 that your mom paid on your behalf. And then with a significant payment, and obviously the more significant the payment, the longer period of time I'm willing to extend it. But you're going to need to reappear, and it'll be this same link. I do see a note in the file that for some reason you kept getting different links. I'm not sure what happened there, but it's this same link. It's the Friday link.
Okay.
I know it says 2021 or something, but that's because it was created.
Okay.
Yeah, it was created then, and they put the year on it, so that's why it says 2021. But it's the Friday link, so it would be the same link. And you'll need to appear on December the 5th at 1:30.
Okay.
And we'll look at how much you've paid then. We'll talk again about, when you can potentially make your next payment. And we'll go from there.
Okay. And if I'm able to, within the timeline between next week and the 5th, can I come in and make more payments, or should I wait until I speak to you on the 5th?
No. You can certainly make more payments.
Okay.
You can, and what I would do is, if you're going to make more payments, because I will want to, have them, when you come in to make a cash payment, have them come and contact me.
Okay.
Next Tuesday, I will be in a car, but somebody will be able to contact me. And if they let me know how much you paid, I can authorize the do not tow to be extended at that time. It's possible somebody may not be able to reach me, but that's something we can put a note in the system, and they can let me know, and then I can let them know as soon as I'm back on the road.
Okay.
Yeah, but at the very least, something needs to happen by December 5th in terms of an extension, whether you come to see me or whether you're paying more just by cash on other days of the week. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to put a note in that to that effect. Don't tow until December the 6th. I'm also going to put a note that you think you might potentially be able to come in and pay more.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That is excellent news. All right. So you are set for the moment.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And somebody will see you next Tuesday with cash, and they will try to get in contact with me. One way or the other, though, if, we'll get you extended with a payment. Again, how long that is depends on how much you pay.
Right.
Okay?
Great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Have a good day. And don't lose the link.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
By the November 21st hearing, the holiday season had already crept into the courtroom. A payment had finally been made, courtesy of Mom, and job interviews were now part of the narrative. On paper, it looked like movement. In practice, it was just enough progress to keep the case alive. Same courtroom rhythm, same expectations, slightly adjusted story. Finals were approaching, money was still tight, and the hope lingered that a little visible effort, plus holiday timing, might justify yet another extension, and it worked. With just enough motion to avoid consequences, the court pushed the case ahead once more, setting a return for December 13th, the balance still waiting, the deadlines unchanged, and the meter continuing to run like it always had.
All right, Ms. Meggerly, I'm back up and running. Again, my apologies to you.
Hello.
Hello. All right, and let me look at my notes from when you were here last. So I do have a note in here that you must have called the court last week, and I don't see that you made a payment. So you are on the tow list, unless I'm missing something.
Oh, last Friday, I couldn't make the court. I had planned to, but I had a final at school, and every time 1 o'clock is when I get back to school from lunch. So it was kind of tricky for me that day. I had planned on making a payment, and then I had called, I believe it was Tuesday or maybe Wednesday, and talked to someone about asking for an extension because I wasn't able to make it last week.
Well, you don't have to come to court to make the payment. You can make you can call the court and make a payment over the phone. So
I understand. You guys are just closed on Wednesdays, and I have school from Monday through Friday.
We're not closed on Wednesdays.
I mean, on the weekends. Sorry.
Right. But, I mean, you aren't in class from 7:30 to 4:30 nonstop every day. Are you?
I am. I have school from 8 to 5.
Right. I understand you're at school, but you're not literally in class nonstop 7:30 to 4:30.
I have one 1 hour break, but yes.
Okay. And you can call the court during that 1 hour break. Also, recall you telling me some time ago you had like Tuesdays off or something.
No, it is distance learning, but we still have to be on school, signed in, almost like Teams for a full 8 hours that day. And in regards to not being able to make a payment, like I've told you before, I still have not been able to find a job. I've been applying almost every weekend for the past 4 weeks since I spoke to you the first time. And
Yeah, and I'm not sure what kind of jobs you're applying for, but there are jobs out there to be had for certain, especially this time of year. And then last time when you made a payment, you were doing some babysitting and whatnot. I mean, there's people looking for dog walkers. There's people looking, there's plenty of things that you can do. So, we're basically in the same boat we were in last time. I need to see you working down this amount. I mean, what you are essentially suggesting is that as long as you're in school, you should have an indefinite, time where you don't have to pay.
no, not at all. I think just under the circumstances and how I came to these tickets from it being from 2023 and just now getting a notice, it has been quite a ride, understanding that I never got a notice before this. Even a few went to collections, I still did never receive a notice. I paid for each of the parking tickets and was overtime. I understand. I take full responsibility for that, but in this situation that I am currently in right now, not having a job, not being able to go out and search a job during normal business hours, it is making it very difficult.
There's Uber, there's Uber Eats, there's all kinds
I do
of
not
different
have
things.
money to spend on gas. I drive to Denver back and forth every single day, 5 days a week. It is very difficult.
I hear you, but it is other people manage it. I hear you. You keep telling me you can't find a job, and
Ma'am, I've
I just
walked into 3 of the grocery stores in this town and handed them a paper resume. I cannot get a call back. I've applied to gas stations, ma'am, and I still have not gotten calls back. I don't understand. I've been to almost every restaurant on Pearl Street walking in. I cannot find a job. I understand that there are ways, but I do not have the time to go out of my way, try to find a babysitting job for someone who does need help watching a children during normal business days when people go to work.
No, I understand that, but I wasn't asking you to be somebody's nanny. People go out on Friday night or Saturday night or what have you.
I get back to Boulder at 7 o'clock at night with traffic.
But essentially what you're saying is as long as I'm in school, I shouldn't have to make a payment. Because you're saying you don't have, let me finish. Because you're saying I don't have time, I can't do this. As far as I know, people don't take paper resumes anymore. What they want is you to apply online. So that could be why you're not getting a call back.
I do both, miss. I go on Indeed and Glassdoor and every single thing. I apply online, walk in, and hand them a resume. I understand. I understand that I do need to make payments. I have been making payments. It's
been some time since you've made a payment. And when you made a payment last, it was $50. And the payment you made before that your mother made on your behalf was $50. So, what you're asking me is just to give you an extension.
An extension until I can find a decent job that works within my schedule for me to actually find work.
But you've been looking for months and you're saying you can't find anything.
No, I cannot. So most people do not hire someone who is only available on the weekends.
I think a lot of places this time of year in particular would want people who work on the weekend because other people don't want to work on the weekends.
It's the only time that you make money. I'm not too sure. It's just I'm kind of out of options here.
And that's certainly true. That's certainly true for restaurants. It's the only, that's when you make the most money. I get that. But if you're talking about a retail job, it doesn't pay any differently on the weekends than it does during the week. So.
Well, like I said, I'm not too sure how to go about this. I have no money, so.
How are you eating every day?
I actually have an EBT card that I had to apply for.
You have an EBT card.
Yes, ma'am. I've explained this to you before, and I find it very
You have
insulting.
not told me before that you have an EBT card.
I just had to apply for it last week with my friend who goes to CU Denver, who is getting her master's in sociology, who is a social worker. I am in a very, very difficult position. And like I said, you requesting me to go ask help from other people, I feel like it's very unfair for you to think that I actually have that type of support in my life.
The only reason I suggested that was because your mother has made several phone calls to the court on your behalf. So, and you're living with her and she came down here to make a payment for you. So yes, I suggested that because, it seemed like she was supporting you. And it was just a suggestion. Maybe you could do this. So I'm certainly not mandating that that's not what you must do, but it would be a way to make a payment if you're able to do that. I mean, clearly your mother's very involved. All right, here's what we're going to do. Without a payment, I'm going to extend your do not tow until after the Christmas holiday. But you need to be very clear that it's not getting extended further beyond that unless and until you make a substantial payment. You've got to pay this off, which means you need to spend the next 3 weeks continuing to look for a job. I don't know, maybe you get some money for Christmas, or whatever holiday you celebrate. Maybe you can pick up some babysitting, maybe you can do some dog walking, whatever. But this just can't go on continuously with you saying, I can't find anything, and I shouldn't have to make a payment because I can't find anything. You understand?
Yes.
What's the date in January, Nick?
20.
The first date after the 5th.
First date after the 5th. The 5th is a Monday,
Yes.
so the following Friday would be the 9th.
Okay. So I will extend the do not tow until the 10th. And I will tell you that we have parking add-ons next week. And then we don't have it again until the 9th of January. And I'm sorry you feel like I'm being unfair to you. And I know your mother's made that, basically said that the court's being unfair to you too. And I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry both of you feel that way. But you were saying you didn't have notice, but you got the tickets. You had notice when you got the tickets. So, and you have, you've told me more than once that you understand you did it and it's your responsibility, which it is. So, but this will get you through the end of the year and through basically the first week, a little over the first week of the new year. But no further extensions without payment. We've got to get this balance down. Okay. All right. So, good luck to you finding a job. I hope you do find one. I mean, for this reason and other reasons, it sounds like, you could use the income generally. But in the meantime, have a nice holiday. We'll see you in the new year. Okay.
Thank you.
By the December 13th hearing, the case had fully entered its holiday phase. Christmas looming, New Year around the corner, and every explanation on the table. Mom's involvement became complicated, support was suddenly disputed, an EBT card entered the record, and job searches somehow excluded the very season when everyone else was hiring. Even the idea of holiday gift money wasn't off limits in the conversation. The judge listened again, but this time with fewer pauses, sharper questions, and a patience that was clearly wearing thin. So the court did what it had been doing all along, set another return date. Christmas would come and go, New Year's would pass, and the case would be back on January 9th, with the same balance still waiting and far less room left for the same explanations.
Katie Meggerly.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Miss Meggerly. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm in class now, so sorry.
Well, are you able to leave class for a few minutes?
I've been waiting for an hour, so I can't really miss too much.
Understood. I mean, and we've talked several times. So what I'm looking for is where you are on payment. What can you pay today?
Well, I don't know, kind of just repeating myself here, but I still haven't found a job and I still don't have much money. I don't know, maybe like $20 today, but there's also something I'd like to talk to you about, something else that came up. Actually came in on Tuesday of this week and I spoke to a gentleman named Miguel at the counter. Because one of my tickets that should have been waived back in November before I first started meeting you had been sent to collections. And when I spoke to him, he told me that the first one had been waived, but for some reason the second one hadn't been. So I wanted to talk to you about that because those two should have been waived.
Okay, hang on just a moment. Let me look.
Thank you. You're raising a Jewish door.
So I'm showing that one ticket was waived on October 31st.
Yep.
And then the next note in the system is from November 14th.
But I believe the ticket was from October 6th. I got the ticket on October 6th, and then so if the other one was waived October 31st, that one should have been waived too. I can't remember his name, who I spoke to the first time. He was an older gentleman. He was not here this week, is what I was told, but...
Well, my notes are not... I show that one was waived in October. In November, your mother came in and made a payment.
This was way before I even started speaking to you or had been making any payments. This was the first time I came in to the court when I learned about this.
All right. So what I need you to do is, with respect to any ticket that's supposed to be waived, I want you to find what information it is. So I would need like a ticket number and what day it was waived on. So, and email the court. And when you do that, I will look at it.
Well, I have the ticket number. I have the date of when it was given to me. It was overtime at a pay station, but that was back when I was living up in the Mapleton area on Pine Street when I had my parking permit. But
right,
during
but
the
the issue is not, it's whether it was waived or not. And so what is the ticket number and what day was it waived on?
Well, if I can find my paper, it should have been waived on the same date that the other one was waived.
But you told me earlier that date was in November.
No, I said October. The ticket, I came in like November. I can't remember when I came in and started this wonderful weekly meetings with you, but it should have been waived because that first one was waived. And the gentleman I spoke to told me that he would waive both of them because because I had a parking permit up at Mapleton for that neighborhood. But in the meantime, I purchased my vehicle from my mother and I got a different registration and a different license plate and it never got updated.
Okay, so what I need you to do is I'm going to have you put this in writing to the court, requesting waiver of this other ticket.
Well, this is why I came in on Tuesday and spoke to Miguel at the front counter.
Well, it sounds like it didn't get waived on Tuesday, so you're asking me to waive it.
Well, I told him that I was going to be meeting with you
I understand. What I'm telling you is I don't have time to research it right now. I have a 2:00 docket. And so if you need to put it in writing and as best you can remember all of the facts, email it to the court, and I will deal with that. Most important to me is what day it was waived. I'm not asking you right now. I'm asking when you put this in writing.
Well, it should be on your whatever day that the other ticket was waived. Okay, I'm looking at my paper right here. So ticket
Ma'am, you're not listening to me. I don't have time to research this right now. I'm telling you I will look at it. But it's not an emergency at this moment.
Well, it kind of is because it's been sent to collections.
Miss Meggerly, I can ask that the collections stop on your account. I can ask you that. And that's not an issue anyway. Ultimately, we can get that taken care of. So I'm asking you to put that in writing. As far as today goes, how much can you pay?
I can give you $20. Like I said, I'm still in school. I still don't have a job. I've actually left my parents' house since the last time I talked to you back in December. So it's actually been kind of hectic for me recently. So, like I said, I've been repeating myself.
And I've been repeating myself. And what I've told you is we need you to work away at this.
Well, I'm not
So
entirely sure how you expect me to do that.
I expect you to earn money. You know, before you've done some babysitting. Certainly, I don't know why it is you can't find a job, but you owe this money, and I'm not willing to continue extending your do not tow order. The last time you were here, I gave you a long time and told you I wasn't going to extend it without you working towards it. And the more money you can pay, the longer I can extend it. $20 payment doesn't do a whole lot.
I understand that, but like I've said, I pay for my car insurance with the very few funds that I have left that I saved before I started school.
And I hear you. I hear you're saying the same thing over and over again. I hear you, but you need to earn some money and pay this down. It's not going to be postponed until you finish school and get a job.
Okay, it's just kind of difficult. I mean, trying to succeed at one thing while also trying to do another thing, which then puts me in the position where I potentially fail another thing. I mean, you can't succeed at your job if you're trying to find another one, can you?
Well, I've certainly done that before, but also if it's so financially difficult, I don't know what the situation is, but it doesn't sound like moving out of your parents would have been the best thing for you to do. Like
I said, I feel like you have unrealistic assumptions about the relationship that I have with my parents, even though my mother was involved at first.
Your mother was very involved.
Does not mean that she's willing to help me.
And that's fine, but you still owe this money and you need to work to pay it down.
Well, like I said, I still have not been able to find a job and I've been rejected. I've been applying online, and like you said, people want to see online applications more so than they do in person. I've been doing both and I still have not received any callbacks. And I've applied to over, I'd say 70 jobs in the Boulder area, out in Louisville, in Lafayette, in Denver. I cannot find anything because my schedule restricts that ability.
But what you've told me is that you're available on the weekends. So there are lots of places that will take people who will work on the weekends. So you
Not
just got to
entirely.
Ma'am, my courtroom, okay? You need to work towards that. If you want to pay $20 today, I will give you 2 weeks. But that doesn't mean every time you pay $20, I'm giving you 2 weeks. The only reason I'm giving you 2 weeks now is because we're not having a docket next week. So I will take your $20 payment. You have a do not tow order until the 24th. But again, I cannot say this strongly enough. You need to work down on this. You've got to do more than $20 at a time. Your balance is still in the hundreds of dollars.
And I've paid a couple $100s to you as well. And I'd like to mention that I've been sitting here for over an hour and a half, missing school, missing my class, waiting. And I've been doing this for the past 6 or 7 weeks with you. And it's really, really harming my education.
Ms. Meggerly, I understand you're frustrated. I'm frustrated too. But that's how it's going to have to be. You want something that I am not willing to offer you. You basically want me to postpone everything. The fact of the matter is you earned these tickets. So, and you need to pay for them.
But I also believe that I've stated to you that the tickets that I did get, I did pay for my parking. I was not back on time. The tickets were from 2023 and I never got notice until late November of 2025. Also,
there would have been tickets put on your car, ma'am, which I've also told you. So,
right. Well, I don't want to bring this up either, but I feel like it is a matter that has to be said. When I first came to the counter and spoke to that gentleman who helped me waive those 2 tickets that were supposed to be waived, he told me that because my tickets were on the hill, college students were going around pulling tickets off of people's windshield as a joke. He told me that.
We've talked about that. And you're welcome to put that in your writing that you're going to send to the court. So with respect to the ticket that he said that somebody told you was going to be waived, give me that information. So I need to know which ticket it is, and I need to know what day it was, you were told it was waived. And it sounds like I purportedly waived it.
No, it wasn't you. It was the gentleman at the counter down the hall.
Okay. So give a description of that person. And one thing I will tell you, though, is if there's not a note in my system that that particular ticket got waived, then it's, I'm looking for a mistake, is what I'm telling you. The other thing I will tell you, Ms. Meggerly, is, I am willing to work with you some on these tickets, but I need you to work with me. So it's not that, I'm not flexible at all. I need more of an effort on your part.
I mean, I feel like you've been telling me that, and there hasn't been any leniency with these tickets in my current situation. You keep telling me that I need to make a payment with the money that I don't have.
I hear you, but occasionally you have been able to get a babysitting job. And like I said, it's, there are places that will hire people for the weekend. So, all right. So I'll look for a $20 payment today.
Yeah, so what's the email that I have to send this into?
You'll have to wait a minute. Nick has left the courtroom and I don't know what that email is off the top of my head. So when Nick comes back to the courtroom, he can send that information to you in the chat. Hey, Nick, Miss Meggerly needs the information where she can send her payment.
Okay.
If you can send that information to
No,
her.
I'm not asking for where to send my payment. I'm asking the email address to where I can fight this ticket that got sent to collections, which wouldn't have been sent to collections.
I understand
ma'am.
you now. So he'll send you that information. So the B-Desk email.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Attorney Jude Ramirez will be the first case
Thank
on
you.
our 2 p.m. docket.
By the end of the most recent hearing on January 9th, the dynamic had fully flipped. What started as explanations and requests had turned into open frustration. And this time, it wasn't just coming from the bench. Waiting was suddenly unfair. Reappearing was exhausting. The process itself became the problem. The judge didn't accept that framing. The tickets were hers. They went to collections because they weren't paid. And the claim that she never saw them ran straight into a basic reality. The citations were placed on the car. Confusion over waivers followed, which ticket, which date, who promised what, until even that narrative began to unravel in real time. Patience wasn't thinning anymore. It was conditional. Extensions had been given. Payments had been accepted. Explanations had been heard repeatedly. What still hadn't changed was the balance, and what still hadn't appeared was consistent follow-through. And that's where the case now sits, not closed, not resolved, just narrowed, with fewer options, firmer boundaries, and a court that's made it clear this can't keep running on explanations alone, no matter how many times the story is retold.